All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Caleb. I guess I should do that as a regular introduction, but it also says on the channel name because I haven't come up with anything clever for the channel name. But sometimes one's name is enough, and one doesn't need to be hyper creative about things, which leads actually pretty well into the topic of today's video, which if anyone's listening and is like, oh cool, there's a video right now, and is like, oh, I'd have to watch. You don't, because it's pretty much going to be a quote-unquote talking head video where I am just talking. So if you want to play it and let it sit, you can just listen to it. Or if you are on the YouTube Premium, you can actually play it and then lock the app and walk around and listen. So just as a disclaimer before things get started, if you are watching, you probably will realize I am walking backwards somewhere in a city. That's the that's the not so typical aspect, or the different aspect of today's video. Just trying to have things incorporate well into my daily life, but still putting out something that will hopefully be viewed as valuable and worthwhile. So yeah, but again, back to the hyper creativity aspect. So today we are talking about Donda by Kanye West. Originally, I was going to do a whole breakdown acoustically in relation to his other albums and yada da da, and see how that goes. There still might be some element of that within this specific video, but we will see. So ultimately, Donda, I'll start out with sort of my base thoughts, just kind of an overview of what I think of the actual album itself, and then I'll go into maybe a little bit further of a breakdown where, there's more contextual background to like Kanye and him and his life and how I've related to Kanye and things like that. And then I think following that will be acoustically and artistically, since I would say the person is more important than the art itself. Some of you might disagree with me, so be it, but that is my take. So yeah, all right, so overview. Donda is interesting. I would say it's what 808s and Heartbreaks should have been, in the sense of Kanye's trajectory. Like, if there was if I'm making a reference to, say, Loki, right? If there is a point where he effectively would have been at the decision point of either going 808s and Heartbreaks or going in the direction of Donda, this is basically that jump off point to me. And that's not to say I didn't listen to their albums, because I think I've listened to every album and then whatever tracks from Good Music. I don't know that I listened to Good Music in its entirety. I did go back and actually listen to all of the albums since I did go back. Between Spotify and YouTube, I listened to all the edited albums that he ended up putting out. Some actually weren't even on YouTube, which there's like a whole other topic in relation to that, where there's like some really solid, clean editors on YouTube, but they get flagged for copyright, which is really unfortunate. And I'm just like, man, I hope these people get hired. So maybe if there's any label people out there that are like, man, we're not like, we need more reach, definitely hit up people like, I think Relly Rel is his name, R-E-L-L-Y space R-E-L. But I've listened to a number of albums on that platform multiple times. And yeah, hopefully this doesn't actually get him like banned. I'm really hoping that it will support his thing. I think originally I was afraid of talking about these channels because it's like, I don't want these people to lose whatever livelihood they might be getting from it, and I didn't really understand YouTube as much as I do now. But yeah, so I definitely say this is the this is the Donda variant of Kanye West, who I would say is more, on the path of like God and all that. I mean, maybe even it's like, it could technically be like just after 808s and Heartbreaks. I mean, I could definitely see him going through 808s and Heartbreak, and then, producing Donda. Yeah, just because, I think 808s and Heartbreaks had that mix of like the 7 steps of sadness and whatnot. So yeah, or the 7 stages of grief, right? I think that's the right wording. But yeah, so definitely think it could slot in either as a replacement to 808s and Heartbreaks or just after 808s and Heartbreaks. The project itself, I like it, but it is definitely mixed up, which I think I'll go into that a little bit later. I listened to the original Donda, which was pretty cool. I thought that it sounded more like a typical studio album, and then I think that was cool in the sense of like, hey, yeah, I'm putting this out like for musical purposes. And I think to some extent Kanye is like, well, I'm still like, I think he's trying to say like there's still aspects of him that are similar to where he was before, but like he's like going back and looking to establish healthy boundaries almost in a way, where he is, like he has the whole Junya Watanabe, and it's like, hey, I'm still like, I'm still Louis Vuitton Don. I still come from a certain culture, which I think is challenging for, people of Black heritage. I think myself, I've had challenges with like having that fully acknowledged, in some ways. But yeah, he's like, I'm still from this heritage, and we're flipping. Turned around. All right, now I get walk forward. I'm still from this like specific, cultural background, but I am also looking to move forward into who I believe I am being called to be. I think best sums it up. But yeah, so I'd say Donda, just the regular version, is probably better in terms of just being like a studio album, you know, and it's long, like, which makes me glad, because I don't know, I think there were a lot of short albums last year, to some extent, and I think having a longer album was nice, because, you know, otherwise it's like 45 minutes, which some people can like fit that niche. Like, I think Toby Nwigwe does that well. Like, his albums that he's put out, like Pandemic Project was 6 songs, you know. I don't know if he'd call that an album, but, you know, it was only like 39 minutes. So, and I mean, that's kind of tough, because then I've never been the best with like LPs or EPs or things like that. That's just a lot to keep track of sometimes. But I think I'm going to do more to revisit these things and learn about it more, especially with wanting to make music on a bit more regular of a basis, even if it's just for me. But yeah, and I think the Donda Deluxe album was much more cohesive as a narrative in relation to him processing, like him, you know, fully processing his mother's passing. You know, I think it's like he is the acceptance of like his mom's mortality at the start of the album, and then he moves into you know, like, I'm still going to, like, I think he has a little bit of a push and pull. I think it's not really fully resolved to some extent. Like, I think he still needs like that extra push to get to where he's needing to go, you know. And yeah, and then I think following this will be like new Kanye music. But yeah, so ultimately he definitely had more of a story of him and his experience with, you know, at least trying to process his mom's passing in the Deluxe album. So honestly, I would personally say, and the organization's different, but if you haven't listened to the album as a whole and you're like, oh man, I've really been wanting to listen to it, go ahead and just listen to the Deluxe, I personally would say, because if you're looking at like a fuller story, like if you listen to the Deluxe, you can pretty much piece together everything in the standard. Like in the Deluxe, he has some songs that have an extended cut, and then he just has, I think, two or three more songs in it. But yeah, I would say definitely more worth it to listen to the Deluxe for sure. So I'll see about having that actually in the description below for y'all to check out. And yeah, I think other than that, I'm trying to think of any of the other differences between the original and the Deluxe. Yeah, I think the Deluxe is just nicer. He includes the Andre 3000 song, Life of the Party, or the song that he's featured on rather. I think Soulja's on there, but Spotify also has a weird, like, I don't know if it's a glitch or it's an intended functionality, but it's missing a lot of the features. Like, there's no feature names on any of the actual songs. And yeah, so definitely a bit odd, and tough to relate that to more of the hip-hop scene as a whole, and you know, people that have come and gone in rap culture and all that, or not come and gone, but you know, have been a part of rap culture, I would say, to some extent. Like, you know, I guess Soulja Boy would probably be one, since that was mentioned, that you know, it's like, why is Soulja Boy on here? I actually talked about that with one of my friends, and it's like, you know, he's got a he's part of rap culture, like he has some importance. I don't know, Kanye doesn't always make the most sense, but yeah, I would definitely say in a way this is like a reflection album for Kanye. You know, like I think, and he talks about this too in his Thanksgiving prayer video that he put up on Instagram, and then also with the what was it? Also with the, I totally just blanked. But yeah, he talks about that on his Thanksgiving prayer video, where he was like, yo, I've been out of line, and I haven't really gone the best way about living in these recent years, even still. So yeah, but yeah, I guess that was sort of the start of the second part of the video, talking more into the context of Kanye and where he's at and everything. So yeah, I feel like there's another point, but I don't remember. If I do remember, I'll just mention it later in the video. But I think I was going to just say something to the effect of, oh yeah, so as opposed to, like, if we're looking at albums, you know, I think, all right, back again. Probably notice if you're actually watching the video that there's a bit of a jump cut. Yeah, oh, there's a cat. Hello. I'm not sure that you're nice. Oh, you have a collar. All right, we're doing a little hello to the cats real quick. Normally I don't trust the ones that have a bit more pointy of a face. There's the cat. Say hello to the people on YouTube. They're just chilling. All right, I'm gonna finish this video, cat. Appreciate you. Yeah. That was my my famous guest star. Yeah. Not saying how famous, but like momentarily famous. I'm gonna have that in the whatchamacallit. I'm gonna have that in the description for or I'm gonna have that in the title for the video. That should be fun. But yeah, so I would say ultimately with these, you know, and I mean, I'm no expert. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about Kanye's life. Definitely don't. But I would say in terms of a narrative, this, you know, I think this was more so like everything I would say from what is it, College Dropout? Yeah, from College Dropout to like Life of Pablo. Like in terms of an overarching narrative, I would say that those all have some level of cohesion, you know. And then leading from that, you know, you get Jesus is King, Jesus is Born, which are very gospel specific albums. I mean, I would say Jesus is Born is a bit more gospel specific than Jesus is King, for sure. I mean, there are quite a bit of biblical references in Jesus is King, but not quite to the point where I would say it's like, you know, it's kind of akin to like Chance the Rapper's coloring book, in a sense. But yeah, and then, you know, coming back, I think with Donda, you know, it's still clean. Like, you can still tell that, you know, that Kanye is having some sort of internal struggle. At least that's apparent to me. And, you know, he made a clean album and he wanted to make it as a tribute to his mom, you know. And I think it's kind of funny because it's still number one. So I don't know. I think Kanye's I think Kanye's playing the system a little bit, because I think it was number one on whatever, on Billboard. So I think that's pretty funny, because I think Jesus is King also hit number one and then got top gospel album or something like that, if I recall correctly. So yeah, but yeah, and then in terms of the whole situation with whatchamacallit, yo, people be wildin' in Sacramento. Apologies, quick aside, but there's mad people that are doing way too many rolling stops. Yeah. But anyway, so ultimately, this sounded like Kanye figuring out, you know, like he is like, hey mom, like, love you, miss you. But I think he's also still looking to, you know, like they're still, hey, I'm looking to move forward. And I think to some extent, you know, he's like, I don't really know how I'm going to move forward. And like, this is officially him coming to terms, where he's like, I'm not really sure how to move forward without you, but I am going to do so. You know, I think in all the ways, and he's looking to honor that, you know, since he's brought up by his mom mostly, and just be able to, or at least brought by his mom mostly from what I understand, and just be able to move forward, not even just like in a, I guess, religious fashion, where like his, like Jesus is Born was very to the books, I would say, in terms of the content and perhaps the heart of the music. I think, you know, and then he had Jesus is Jesus is King, which he's looking perhaps more so to you know, do something new within a Christian space and really push things in that way. So I think since he had like those 2 albums, and those were like pretty notable, I'd say, in terms of a cultural shaking. I think this was him like taking a pause and actually getting his, I guess, his P's and Q's in order, so to speak, or all his ducks in a row, I guess, as the saying goes. And being able to, you know, basically go back and approach new things with the, you know, with the best, you know, the best him that he can approach it with. So, yeah, I think that is what Donda is. It feels like a transitional album, and it happens to have some bangers for sure. I think top ones are, for me, Believe What I Say, Up From the Ashes for sure, and then, man, that's tough. Up From the Ashes, especially because I heard the leaked version, to be honest. I was like, I'm gonna find these leaked versions, I'm gonna listen to them. But he added in the Sunday service choir, and I'm like, dang. Honestly, I almost like the leaked version because it's a bit more cut down. And yeah, I kind of like it. It sounds a bit more raw to me. So Kanye, hey, if you ever just want to release like uncut, unfinished tracks, that would be pretty dope. Yeah. Or if you want to release, well, maybe not release Yandi. If Yandi is released, it has to be released with the right context. I know it ended up being pretty much Jesus's is king anyway. But yeah. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Definitely wanted to just come on here and talk about stuff. And you can go ahead, lady. You good? Go ahead. At least that lady like genuinely waited. Yeah. I think this is going to be it. So hopefully you all enjoyed. If you like what I do and you're like, I don't have anything budgeted for giving to folks, go ahead and just drop a like or subscribe, please. It'd be much appreciated. Helps with the algorithm, trying to get to 1,000, so that way I have ultimate live streaming powers between Twitch and YouTube, which it'd be cool if I'd be able to simultaneously live stream. I probably could, honestly, thinking about it. Maybe I'll figure that out. But yeah, if you do have money and you're like, hey, I want to give Caleb some financial support for the things that he's doing, then go ahead and click on the link tree, which I think should just naturally be in the bio. I want to say I edited the description to have the link tree in the bio. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, past all my friends' pages and my church's page, there is a $sign with a circle around it. You can click on that, go straight to my PayPal, and I will be able to withdraw those funds and use it to, you know, be financially supported. Food, well, not food. If my dad's listening, he's probably like, you're not eating, or something like that. But, you know, it offsets the costs of things with another source of income. So that's all I'm entailing. And yeah, check out Donda. I'll put both the Deluxe and the not deluxe, versions in the description, which to me, it should just be Donda, like the complete version. It actually reminded me like, man, I really just want to like put out a finished product. No hate, Kanye, still love you, but it felt very much so like the first one wasn't the wasn't a complete project, and the second one, the deluxe version, was. So yeah, just put out complete art, people. And if it's imperfect and ugly, then it's imperfect and ugly. Perfectionism is not healthy or realistic. Neither is people pleasing. But yeah, and if you all want to, I was about to cameo my wife in this piece, but she is chilling. So hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully also I'll have better audio soon. I also might develop this more into a podcast as opposed to videos, because YouTube, I mean, the main platform, especially with the occurrence of Mr. Beast Squid Games, which I don't really like Mr. Beast, to be honest. I think some of his challenges are fun, but I don't like him all that much in terms of how he goes about things, certain things. But can't deny the success. That is for sure. It is apparent. Yeah, and I'll link those, the album links, in the description. Boop. And yeah, also if you're checking out the Linktree, go and check out all the socials linked there. I have Twitch, Instagram, and I think Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, and I think my Twitter's on there. I'm not on Twitter all that much. Honestly, I use it sparingly, and then I I use it for contests. But I do post, I would say, meaningful things every, like, I don't know, month or so. That's also where I most post, or most consistently post, when I'm going live on Twitch. For the most part, I stream Mario Kart Tour, and then I also played Halo Infinite recently. I might hop on again depending on friends. Not really a big online multiplayer fan like that. I think I've always been more of a couch co-op fan, just because, you know, people are like connected, but I'm sure I'll like online multiplayer when I'm like not within half an hour of friends. So yeah, and that is pretty much it. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully you all are staying safe and watching out for the Toad People variant of COVID, aka Omicron, Omicron, and hopefully you're not burnt out from jokes about Omicron. But take care all, and stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.